It's time to move on from Henry Cavill Superman obsession. Well, at least that's what Collider says. And, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that there are so many people out there who still have this obsession, who are going crazy about Henry Cavill still being Superman. We talk about this all the time on Slav's Free Talk. We talk about it ad nauseum, really, if you think about it. I've posted so many videos so many times about Superman. I talked about it on the first ever Slavs Geek Talk just the other day about how this Superman suit doesn't make the Superman, because there's such an obsession right now about Henry Cavill's Superman suit on David Corn Sweat suit. And this article by Collider has kind of gotten the fandom, the Snyderverse fandom, into a tizzy. They've gotten people upset because, well, it talks about Henry Cavill's Superman, and obviously in conjunction with Cavill's Superman, it obviously has to do with the Snyderverse. And as you can see, we have people who are just being more than complacent, being very honorable and respectful to Collider for this article, right? Obviously, it's crazy how quickly they just turn. And I like to sit here and say, I could go through all of these comments and simply put this comment here. Tell us you didn't read the article without telling us you didn't read the article, because every single comment from these Snyder Bros, from this Snyder cult, from the Snyder loyalists, whatever you want to call them, it is obvious that they did not read this article, because this article is not about bashing. It's not about bashing Snyder. It's not about bashing Henry Cavill. It's not about pumping up James Gunn. It's not about pumping up David Cornsweet. It's not about exciting anybody about the DCU. Sure, there is a little piece of this article that talks about David Cornsweet and about it being his turn as Superman, and that we should give him a chance. Absolutely, you're talking about Superman, so you're going to have to put a little bit about that. But it's not about that. It is about Henry Cavill. This article is 95% about Henry Cavill, and rightfully so. Okay? After years of rumors, behind-the-scenes reports, and speculation from the fan community, the DC Extended Universe that began with Man of Steel in 2013 has come to the conclusion. And it starts off like that. It's basically saying, look, the DCEU is over. The conclusion of the DCEU has happened. And with that, Henry Cavill's Superman is gone. It's over. However, many fans are clinging to the possibility of Henry Cavill returning to play Superman. Okay? The confusion over Cavill's role in the franchise isn't entirely unexpected after the post-credits scene from Black Adam. It seemed to confirm that he would be reprising his role as Superman in an upcoming project. DC Films experienced a creative overhaul that resulted in David Cornsweet being cast as young Clark Kent in Gunn's Superman film, set to release in 2025. It certainly may have been a disappointment for Cavill, who also recently left his role in The Witcher. However, the conspiracy theories about Cavill's exit don't do him any good, as he is an actor who is destined for a much more exciting career beyond the DC universe. It's okay, though, that Henry Cavill isn't playing Superman. And I'm not going to read this verbatim. I'm not going to go through each and every line here, because it is important that you go read this article, because it is not about James Gunn's DCU. It's not about Superman and David Cornsweet. Again, there is a bit about that in here. But what's important about this article is it talks about how this obsession with Cavill being Superman, this obsession about this, isn't leading to people being fans of Cavill. Because what it has done is people aren't, these people who say they're fans of Cavill aren't going and watching Cavill in other movies. And they're missing out on these roles, these performances that he is doing in other movies that have been phenomenal. You know, he just recently did a movie, Ungentlemanly Warfare, a World War II film, Guy Ritchie film. It was great. He was in Mission Impossible Fallout a few years ago, which did well, and most people watch that. He's been doing roles. He's in an upcoming movie called The Grey, but people are not going and seeing him in these films. Most of the movies that he's doing, most of the films that he's in, just aren't doing really well at the box office because he's not a box office draw. But why? Why isn't he a box office draw? If this fandom that is so set on him returning as Superman is such a big fan of Henry Cavill, why aren't they going and watching him and everything else? And that's kind of what this article talks about is, look, if you are a fan of Cavill, there's plenty of Cavill out there. Go watch him. Go watch him. If you are a fan of Cavill, go watch him. Yes, we understand that you liked him as Superman. And you don't have to forget the past. You don't have to forget his role as Superman. You have, 3-4 movies as him as Superman? Go watch him in those, you can. But don't forget that he is an actor. He has other films. There are other movies that he will be in. And it's important to support him in those movies, in those roles. Because he is a good actor. He is a good actor. And again, like I said, there is, as you can see through this article, it's all about Cavill. And at the very end, here it is, at the very end of the article, there's a little piece right here. Right there. It's literally 2 small paragraphs about Corin Sweat deserving a chance as Superman. Okay? So when we go back and look at all these people who are freaking out, yelling and screaming, yelling and screaming, yelling and screaming, it's apparent that none of them went and read the article. It's apparent that none of them went in and saw that they praise Cavill for his portrayal as Superman. They praise what he did in that role. But they're also praising him for him being a good actor. But you know who aren't truly praising Cavill as a good actor? It's all these people right here who are sitting here saying he's the greatest Superman ever, that they want to see more Cavill. They're not going to see more Cavill. If they loved Cavill as Superman so much, they would have seen him in Black Adam. They would have supported him in Black Adam. They would have said, you know what? I understand that Black Adam isn't exactly a Snyder movie, but he's back. Let's go support this movie because this could be our best chance at getting more Cavill, at getting more Cavill Superman. But they didn't do that. They didn't. Because it's never been about that. It never has been. This fandom wants to bitch and complain because that is what they're best at. That's what they're used to doing. I say this all the time. They've become the villain of the story. They refuse to acknowledge that they've become the villain of the story, but they have. And it's gotten out of hand. It truly has. Collider, I don't agree with how Collider has handled their business over the last 5 or so years. I used to love their YouTube channel back in like 2014, 15, 16, 17, that era, like that time frame. I love their YouTube channel. It was great when John Campea, Christian Harloff, all of them were on there. Around like 2018, 2019, things just kind of shifted there and things just really spun out of control. So typically, I'm not a fan of Collider. But this is a good article. This truly is a good article, which I encourage everybody to read. I liked the article because it's true. It's based off fact. It's based off of like, look, Henry Cavill's a good actor. Go watch him in these films, these upcoming movies, the films that he's made. He's a good actor. Go support him because he is. He is. Don't allow your Superman obsession to cloud your judgment about going to see him in other things. Because you should go see him in other things. Don't just think that he's only Superman. Because he's not. He's done so many other things and a lot of good things. But let me know your thoughts. I want to hear what you had to say about this article. And really, let me read the article before you come and comment. Read the article, then come and comment. That's what I want to know. I want to hear. I want to hear some intelligent conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. Remember, on this channel, Slav's Geek Talk podcast, it's going to be longer form. The first episode was only about 20 minutes. Next week, I'm going to shoot for a little bit longer. You can find us on the podcatching apps. Slav's Geek Talk podcast. Longer form kind of discussion. As of right now, no video. Maybe video content, but it's going to be mostly audio. So keep that in mind. Maybe get some guests on. I don't know. We will see how that all works out. But Slav's Geek Talk podcast, Slav's Free Talk, go to slavsfreetalk.com, all that jazz. With all that said, subscribe, like, share, all that jazz. I'll talk to all of you later.